There comes a time in every soul's journey when life doesn't whisper, it roars. It shakes your ground, crushes your confidence, and leaves you wondering whether you'll ever be whole again. But in those very moments, when your strength is stretched thin and your heart feels hollow, something extraordinary happens. You begin to rise not in spite of your pain, but because of it. 2025 is not just another year. It is the year of becoming. The world outside is louder, faster, more chaotic than ever, and the only way to stay grounded is to become unbreakable within. Resilience is not about never falling, it's about rising each time, stronger, wiser, softer in heart, yet firmer in resolve. Let us explore 5 powerful keys to build that kind of resilience. The kind that doesn't just help you survive, but teaches you how to thrive. Embrace the art of falling without fear. There is something profoundly human about falling. It strips away the illusion of control and reminds us that no matter how high we rise, we are still vulnerable. But in that vulnerability lies the seed of our greatest strength. When we fall, we meet the rawest version of ourselves, the one unfiltered by pride, ego, or perfection. Most people fear falling because they equate it with failure. Society glorifies success and hides its wounds behind filters and highlight reels. But the truth is, no success is meaningful if it wasn't forged through failure. Falling is not a setback, it's a rehearsal for resilience. It's where the heart breaks just enough to let the light in. Children fall all the time. They trip, tumble, and get back up laughing. They don't fear the ground because they haven't yet learned to be ashamed of falling. Somewhere along the way, we lose that innocence and replace it with self-judgment. But what if we could return to that childlike courage? What if falling became a moment of growth rather than a mark of defeat? Every fall teaches you something that comfort never can. It teaches you about your limits, your pain threshold, your breaking points, and most importantly, your ability to recover. The fall might bruise your knees, but it strengthens your spine. It humbles you, awakens you, and prepares you. There's a kind of freedom that comes with no longer fearing the fall. When you're not afraid to fall, you dare more boldly. You leap without looking back. You take risks not because you're reckless, but because you trust your ability to rise again. That trust becomes your power. When you fall, you learn the true meaning of courage. Not the loud kind that shouts from rooftops, but the quiet one that whispers, "I'll try again." The world may not notice your courage in getting back up, but you will feel it burning gently in your chest like a sacred fire. Sometimes, it's not the fall that breaks you, it's the shame that follows. Let go of that shame. You are not your mistakes. You are not your missteps. You are the soul who dared. And daring, in a world that teaches you to play safe, is an act of rebellion. It is an act of hope. Don't just accept your falls, honor them. Mark them as milestones on your journey. The moments you fell were the moments you discovered your edges. The moments you got back up were the moments you expanded beyond them. You became something more each time. Look back at every fall in your life and you'll see a pattern. You survived. Maybe with scars, maybe with heartbreak, but you survived. You endured the storm you thought would consume you. That's not just survival, that's transformation. That's the beginning of being unbreakable. The art of falling without fear doesn't mean you'll enjoy pain. It means you'll no longer let pain dictate your pace. You will walk forward knowing pain may meet you, but it will not master you. Your stride becomes braver with every stumble you've turned into strength. What makes you resilient is not the fact that you've never fallen. What makes you resilient is that every time life threw you to the ground, you remembered how to rise even if you had to crawl. That memory is your power. That grit is your gift. When you fall, you begin to understand others more. You grow gentler, more compassionate. Pain softens the sharp edges of judgment and carves out space for empathy. The broken parts of you become bridges for others who feel broken too. Let your past falls remind you that you're still here. Let them be your evidence that you can keep going. You didn't fall because you were weak. You fell because you were walking a path with courage. That path is the one that leads to becoming unbreakable. Falling isn't failure. It is proof that you tried, that you reached, that you stretched yourself beyond the comfort zone. The world doesn't need perfect people, it needs brave ones. And bravery starts at the edge of comfort, where falling is always a possibility. You fall to remember the strength in your bones. You fall to find your footing again. You fall not to break, but to build. And when you understand this, every fall becomes sacred. Every fall becomes the beginning of flight. Build an inner world that the outer chaos cannot shake. The world outside is a storm. It rages with noise, distractions, crises, and opinions. If your peace depends on that world being quiet, you will never find it. Resilience begins the day you decide to stop looking for calm outside and start creating it inside. There is a place within you that the world cannot touch. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's quiet, sacred, still. That is the place you must build, protect, and retreat to. Because when the winds of life blow wild and the ground beneath you trembles, it is your inner world that will hold you steady. Building this inner world takes discipline. It's not built in one day or with one act. It is carved slowly, intentionally, like a sculptor shaping stone. You shape it with thoughts, choices, boundaries, and self-trust. And once built, it becomes your home. Most people live externally. They wait for the job to give them worth, the partner to give them love, the crowd to give them validation. But what happens when the job ends, the partner leaves, the crowd disappears, they collapse because they never built something inside. Your inner world must be your sanctuary, a place where you go not to escape life, but to connect with your essence. This is where your values live, your truth, your wisdom. The noise of the world may try to drown it, but if the roots are deep, the storm can shake you. Your mind is a garden. If you do not plant flowers, weeds will grow. That's not philosophy, that's life. So plant beauty, plant faith, plant thoughts that nourish rather than drain. Your resilience grows in the soil of your thoughts. The outer world will never stop shifting. Economies crash, people betray, bodies age. But your inner world, that's where eternity lives. That's where your peace sits patiently, waiting to be acknowledged. Build it with silence. Build it with prayer. Build it with presence. Learn to sit with yourself without distraction, in a room, with no noise. Just you and your breath. That is how you begin. You will feel restless at first, uncomfortable. But slowly, your soul will start speaking. And when it does, listen closely. It will guide you back to yourself. The strongest people you'll ever meet are the ones who live from the inside out. Their light does not flicker with others' opinions. Their joy is not stolen by the chaos around them. They are not cold or detached, they are anchored. To be resilient, you must become your own home. Your comfort, your friend, your truth. And when you become your own sanctuary, no one can evict you from peace. The world may spin madly, but you remain centered not because life is easy, but because your soul is strong. People may misunderstand you. They may question your calm. They may call it aloofness. But let them. Your peace is not their responsibility, nor is their confusion yours. Keep building, keep protecting that sacred space within you. Some days, the world will tempt you to abandon your inner world, to react, to rage, to fear. But that's when you return to your center and remember, chaos outside does not mean chaos inside. You hold the key to your calm. And in moments of pain, don't run outward, run inward. That's where the healing happens. That's where the voice of hope whispers, this too shall pass. And it always does. But your soul, it remains constant, unshaken, eternal. Don't wait for life to be still. Make stillness your lifestyle. Build your inner world so deeply rooted that the earthquakes of life become mere tremors in the distance. That is not denial. That is power. That is resilience. When you live from the inside out, you become untouchable in ego, but in spirit, You carry a strength that does not shout, a peace that does not beg, and a courage that does not ask for applause. You simply stand, unmoved, unbreakable. Let pain polish you, not punish you. Pain is a language understood by every heart, no matter the accent, no matter the geography. It enters silently and stays loudly. It rearranges your world without permission. But the most important question is never, why did it happen to me? It's, what will I become because of it? Pain can either become your prison or your professor. It can lock you in bitterness, or it can teach you the art of becoming. The moment you stop fighting it and start listening to it, pain transforms from a curse into a compass. It doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to uncover you. There is no growth without discomfort, no wisdom without wounds. The brightest souls are rarely those who have known only comfort. They are the ones who have walked through fire, not just burned, but reborn. Their light isn't decorative, it's forged. The world will often tell you to numb your pain, to avoid it, escape it, disguise it in smiles, or drown it in distractions. But avoidance is a thief, it steals your healing. You must face your pain, sit with it, let it speak. And when you do, it will start to shape you. There is something sacred about brokenness, not the kind that leaves you bitter, but the kind that opens you wider, that strips away everything false and reveals what's real. That brokenness becomes the place where your new self is built stronger, softer, wiser. Pain doesn't just tear, it teaches. It teaches you to let go of what you thought you needed. It teaches you to slow down, to look within, to cherish what truly matters. It teaches you that you are not what happened to you. You are who you become in response. Sometimes pain has to interrupt your plans to realign you with your purpose. You may see it as punishment, but perhaps it's preparation. Life has a way of polishing souls through pressure. Diamonds are made like this, so are you. Stop asking when the pain will go away. Start asking what it came to reveal. Stop waiting for life to feel perfect again. Start walking with purpose through the imperfection. Pain may slow you down, but it also deepens you. The most beautiful people are not the untouched. They are the ones whose eyes have wept, whose hearts have cracked, whose hands have trembled, but who chose love anyway, who chose hope anyway, who chose to continue. Pain carves out capacity. Every sorrow digs space in your soul for joy to one day settle in. Without the depth of pain, you cannot truly hold the depth of peace. They live in the same vessel. One prepares you for the other. Healing does not mean forgetting. It means transforming. It means taking your suffering and shaping it into strength. Letting it teach you not how to avoid life, but how to embrace it fully, even with scars. Let your scars speak, not to remind you of harm, but to honor the healing. Let them be symbols not of weakness, but of resilience. They are not shameful. They are sacred. You are not being punished. You are being polished. You are being made radiant by the very things you thought would ruin you. The ashes of yesterday are becoming the soil of your tomorrow. Trust the process. Trust the pain. Every storm you've endured has washed something away and made space for something new. Do not mourn the ashes. Watch what rises from them. The pain may have shaken you, but it never shattered you. That is the definition of resilience. There will come a day when you look back and realize your greatest growth came from your deepest wounds. And that day, you will not hate your pain. You will thank it. Not because it was easy, but because it changed everything. Speak to yourself like someone worth saving. There is a voice inside your head that speaks to you more than anyone else ever will. And yet, we often let that voice become cruel, critical, or cold. But what if that voice became kind? What if it spoke like someone trying to save you instead of sabotage you? Resilience begins in the mind, not in the external battles, but in the internal ones. You cannot stand strong in the world if you are at war with yourself. The words you whisper to your soul in your darkest hour become the rope you climb or the weight that drowns you. If a friend spoke to you the way you sometimes speak to yourself, would you let them stay? then why let your own thoughts treat you like a stranger? Start noticing the tone, the accusations, the endless comparisons. Then interrupt it with compassion. You are not lazy, you are tired. You are not broken, you are healing. You are not behind, you are unfolding. This is the language of self-love, and it is not weakness, it is necessity. Because no one survives the storms of life while screaming at their own heart. Encourage yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Be your own advocate, your own coach, your own soft landing. There will be times when no one else sees your effort. No one else hears your cry. But if you do, you will not fall. Kind self-talk is not delusion. It is not pretending everything is perfect. It is choosing honesty without cruelty. It is looking in the mirror and saying, you're struggling, but you're trying. You're hurting, but you're healing. And I'm proud of you for staying. Resilience is built by how you treat yourself in moments of failure. When the goal isn't met, when the heartbreak arrives, when the mistake is made. If in those moments you shame yourself, you shrink. But if you support yourself, you soar. Your mind is listening. Every word becomes a brick in your mental foundation. Speak with care. Speak with courage. Speak with hope. One kind sentence can rewrite an entire pattern of pain. When you wake up, speak life. When you fall down, speak grace. When you doubt yourself, speak truth. Let your voice become the melody that guides you back to strength every single time. That voice matters more than you think. You are allowed to be your own best friend, your own mother, your own healer. You do not have to wait for others to validate your worth. That begins with you. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you let the world treat you to. People will mirror your energy. If they see you belittling yourself, they will do the same. But if they see you protecting your peace, honoring your growth, and forgiving your flaws, they will either match it or leave. Talk to yourself like someone rebuilding, someone surviving, someone precious. Because you are. And when you treat yourself like something sacred, the world learns to do the same. Do not let your inner dialogue become a battlefield. Turn it into a sanctuary. Fill it with words that comfort, challenge, uplift, and renew. That is how you prepare yourself for anything life throws your way. The strength of your mind becomes the shelter of your soul. And that begins with your words. Don't wait for kindness. Be the first to give it to yourself. Let your voice be the one that pulls you out of darkness and into light. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful thing you will ever say is the thing you say to yourself when no one else is listening. Anchor yourself in something greater than circumstance. Life is unpredictable. It will shake you with its storms and silence you with its shocks. If you build your identity on what changes money, relationships, titles, appearances, then when those things disappear, so will your sense of self. That's why resilience begins with anchoring. Anchoring means tying your soul to something that doesn't move when the world does. It could be faith, purpose, a calling, a vision, a belief. Whatever it is, it must be deeper than your doubts and stronger than your seasons. When life pulls you in every direction, you must return to center. That center must be something eternal, not trends, not attention, not approval, but something that lives beneath the surface. That anchor becomes your survival when everything else starts sinking. Many people drift through life like leaves in the wind, tossed by every opinion, fear, or failure. They look strong on the outside, but inside, they are unrooted. They don't fall because of the pressure, they fall because they were never anchored. When you're anchored, you don't need certainty, you don't need everything to make sense. You just need to remember your why, your what for, your deeper reason. That remembrance becomes your resistance against despair. Faith for many is the anchor. Not religion, but relationship with the divine, the sacred, the eternal. For others, it's purpose, the drive to serve, to uplift, to build something that lasts beyond the self. Whatever it is, it must go beyond ego. Ego doesn't hold in storms. Your anchor reminds you, you are not your success. You are not your failure. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to believe in, despite what happened. That belief becomes your power. Anchoring gives you stability in transition, peace in change, clarity in chaos. And the best part is, you don't need anyone's permission to anchor yourself. It is an inside decision, a sacred contract between you and your soul. When anchored, you stop chasing validation. You stop fearing rejection. Because you know who you are and why you're here. You may lose things, people, status, but you will not lose you. That is the essence of resilience. Resilience is not the absence of crisis. It is the presence of foundation. You may sway, but you do not snap. You may cry, but you do not quit. You may bend, but you do not break. Because something within you is grounded. An anchored soul is a dangerous soul in the best way. Dangerous to despair, dangerous to darkness. Because it does not drift, it walks with conviction. It breathes with purpose. It endures with grace. When everything outside of you changes, your anchor is what whispers, "You are still enough." That whisper is louder than the scream of circumstances. And that's all you need sometimes. Just one truth louder than the lies. Anchor yourself, not in certainty, but in strength. Not in approval, but in alignment. Not in comfort, but in calling. And once you do, no wind will be strong enough to break you. Because what is rooted deeply does not fall easily. Your circumstances are the waves. Your anchor is the truth. Hold on to it. And you'll not only survive the storms, you'll rise above them, sail through them, and one day teach others how to do the same. At the end of the day, as the world continues to change faster than we can sometimes understand, there is one power that remains: timeless resilience. Not the kind that merely wears a smile through struggle, but the kind that gets back up after being shattered, the kind that chooses to keep walking even with trembling legs. The speech was not about invincibility, it was about unbreakability, which is something far more powerful. In 2025, life may not always promise clarity, but it offers something greater: the chance to grow through what we go through. We learn together that resilience is not an overnight miracle. It is a journey of becoming. It is a decision to stay soft in a hard world, to choose growth over grief, to let the fire forge you instead of consume you. You now understand that silence is not emptiness, it's where your soul begins to speak. That in your loneliest hours, you are not lost, you are being led. That pain isn't the end of your story, it's the part where your strength is written in bold. That your inner voice must become your greatest ally. And that true stability is not built in what the world gives you, but in what you decide to stand for, no matter what the world takes away. The storms will come, the winds will howl. The nights may stretch longer than you expect. But within you lives something more persistent than fear, more enduring than failure: your will to rise. Not once, not twice, but every time life knocks you over. So, as you carry this message forward into the days ahead, remind yourself, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. You don't have to move fast. You just have to keep moving. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to listen to your soul. You don't have to carry the weight alone. You just have to let someone in. And above all, you don't have to fear the fall, because now you know you're capable of the climb. This is your year not to escape the hardships, but to embrace the warrior within you. The one who is bruised, but brave. The one who doubts, but dares. The one who weeps, but walks forward anyway. The one who has been bent, but never ever broken. You are not defined by what you face. You are defined by how you fight through it. And if no one else says it to you, hear it now, hold it close. You are resilient. You are rising. You are unbreakable. Now go and live like it.